everybody. Welcome back to the OffBeat Sports Podcast, presented member of our team, Joe Cunningham. Today we're going to talk some Celtics. Go over just general Celtics stuff, Kemba's early struggles. Actually, he played pretty well tonight, but we'll go over that. And Tatum and Brown's all-star season. So let's get into it. So just general Celtics stuff. I mean, they've had some struggles. They struggled on their road trip. They went 2-3 on it. I mean, Cali road trips are always hard. Like, and injuries too. We went through a couple games without Brown. Smart's been out, so hard to go through those. I mean, what do you think?
I think, well, in terms of like durability, and if you're going to talk like injuries, I mean, over the past 5 years or so, the Celtics have had probably one of the worst training staffs throughout the league. If you look at the amount of, not even just the frequency of injuries, but the length of injuries that should not be recurring, you can make the argument that they are not doing their jobs or they're not investing into a great training staff. I mean, you had Ed Lacerte for all those years, and people loved him, but he's long gone now, and ever since then, it's just been downhill. I think.
Well,
Honestly,
yeah,
the
with
team
our
should
endless trail of injuries, that you'd think that they'd have a strong team of trainers with all the problems we have on the
Yeah,
court.
you think they make a change by now, but
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't seem like that's even on their radar.
Yeah, I mean, we sit at fourth seed, 13 and 11. I mean, not great, but if we go through our games this year, like you can even make a case for a bunch of them. Like the first Nets game, we just struck like that. I mean, that was the first look at those Nets. I think we'll play them better the next time, and then we dropped one of the Pacers, which was not good, and then I mean we lost two, or we dropped one of the Pistons too, which is also not great. But we dropped two to the Sixers, where I think we win both those games with Tatum. Like Tatum was out for those games. I think we win both of those easy, because they played great and competed against Philly. I think like COVID hit the team. We in one of the games we were missing Robert Williams too. Robert Williams and Tatum. So I don't know. I think people are overreacting.
Honestly, yeah, I'd have to agree. I think people are overreacting. I think I don't think necessarily roster changes need to be made. I think that the allocation of minutes is most important. I mean, they finally figured it out with Jeff Teague. Jeff Teague hasn't played more than 3 total minutes in the past 6 or so games. And honestly, for now, I think that's a good thing. Peyton Pritchard's been playing out of his mind this season.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, like the guard
Pritchard's more than what we could have hoped. Like I said it in a post. Pritchard, I'm very wrong, and I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I was very anti Pritchard in the draft, because it's hard to tell about, especially it's hard to tell about like point guards coming out of college, especially like white ones. Like you don't know what you're gonna expect, like from a little white point guard coming out of college. Like he had great college, but you don't know how that's gonna translate to the NBA. And I should have saw that dog mentality from the start, but he's completely proved me wrong, and
well, talking about the dog
I'm glad he
mentality.
did.
Yeah. No, talk about that dog mentality. I was thinking about it just yesterday. There's people who are dogs and people who get buckets. Like
He's
there's a
both.
difference. Yeah. He's both. And you look back at somebody like James Young back in the day. That was the reason why he did not work with the Boston Celtics, is because he was a guy who got buckets. He was a silky smooth shooter who got buckets, but that's pretty much all he did. And he was playing in a system full of dogs. Marcus Smart, even IT, Avery Bradley, people that were gritty, people that were undersized, and played up. And he was expected to take on the role take on his own role within that system, that dog gritty system. And that led to him just kind of bouncing out of the NBA because he never really found it. But
Mm-hmm.
like you said, Pritchard is both. Pritchard's found his way to play both sides of that. Like Marcus Smart is not really a guy who gets buckets, if we're being honest. Like he
Yeah.
scores his fair share. He does well. He's a great facilitator for a guy that's pretty much a combo guard / even a forward. But, you know,
Mm-hmm.
he's a dog. He's the guy. He's the glue guy.
Yeah, and then you can going over something like that Lakers game we lost at home. We lost by 1. Kemba had 4 points. That's not going to happen again against them. Like that we played great. And Pritchard didn't even play that game.
Right.
Like we we probably win that, or if Kemba shoots even 2% better, we win that game. We had a tough loss to the Spurs. I'm just going through that Kings loss. We shouldn't have even lost, but Brown didn't play that game. Actually, Kemba. Oh no, Brown did play that game. Kemba didn't play that game because it was the second night of a back-to-back. And then we beat the Clippers, I think, without Brown. Yeah, we beat the Clippers without Brown. They didn't have PG though. We didn't have Brown or Smart. We lost to the Suns without Brown or Smart. Brown or Smart. We win that game with both of them. We lost to the Jazz without Smart. I mean, that was a tough game. The Jazz are rolling this year, so I mean, that's a game we can afford to lose. I just think people are completely overreacting. We beat the Raptors tonight by 14 without Smart. We had a pretty much full squad. I read the starting lineup, the regular starting lineup, or the core four, Smart, Brown, Tatum, and Kemba. They've played a total of 21 minutes together this season. Yeah, and I also no other team has even the only other core of a team that's played less than that, or that's played not less, that's played under 100 minutes is the Nets with Harden, KD, and Kyrie. I'm sure they've passed that by now. I read this the other day, but I'm sure they've passed that by now. But that was since the Harden trade. So
right.
that we've literally not even come close to scratching the surface of what this team is. And honestly, even some of the games we can't get any roster fluency. So the rotations are different every game because you can't get you have a different team out there every game because of injury, COVID, just random nagging crap. Brown went out for a couple of games with a little knee soreness.
Not even just that, but you have Brad Stevens, who he's so quick to make changes. I mean, if you look over the course of his
He plays a
entire
lot of guys.
Yeah, I give him credit, all the credit in the world for finding a way to get everyone in the game because it seems like there are a lot of guys on that team that get a lot more time than they do on paper. If you see them in the game and they only play 6 minutes in the game, but you look on paper and see 6 minutes and you're like, huh, I thought he was in there for 15.
Yeah,
And especially the way he played. But Brad Stevens, he's been pulling people left and right. You got to find some balance. Play everybody a good enough amount, but you need to have some sort of cohesion with your core, like you said.
And I think once they're healthy, I think we can be one of the best teams in the league. And I don't know if we can beat that. Actually, I think we can beat that Nets team. I know that's crazy to say. They have zero depth whatsoever.
Not at all.
Zero whatsoever. And unless they make a couple moves, they're not getting any better. And because they don't have a backup big right now. They literally do not have a backup big. And DeAndre Jordan is kind of washed in as a starting big. So they're really, really good with their starters. But they've been playing pretty well, but they don't have anything when they go to their bench. So I think we can beat them. We've already beaten the Bucks, beaten the Raptors, beaten the Heat. What other teams are at the top? The Sixers are a tough team. We lost 2 games to them, but without Tatum, I think we beat them. We've shown we can beat that team. Pacers, we lost one, beat them once. I think we win that. I think we'll beat the Raptors. I don't see any team in the beating us in a 7-game series except for maybe the Bucks or the Sixers, and I think we can take them. And I don't think we'll beat the Lakers, but I mean, you never know. And I just think they need to get healthy and get some consistency in their lineup.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I mean, like you said, it's tough with COVID. It's tough with those nagging recurring injuries. And like I had said before, nagging recurring injuries. I mean, after so many years of this, you should probably figure something out, personnel wise. I mean, you look at Robert Williams and he's having this hip problem again. I mean, there's a history of hip problems here. You have Robert Williams,
Langford hasn't played a game. He's
Yeah,
been out with that stupid wrist thing. Like,
exactly. Like they need to figure out a way. I mean, you look at
mhm.
these other teams and you have these people that are making recoveries quicker than they had anticipated. All of our players are, you know,
I
running
wonder if they're
10
trying to
weeks.
play it safe. I wonder if they're trying to play it safe because they're like, we're gonna be in the playoffs. Like, we maybe we're doing decent right now. Like, what if we just play it safe and make sure everyone's getting back fully healthy, so they're not risking bringing back someone too early because they had that problem with Kemba where they brought him back too early last year and he ended up getting hurt again. So I wonder if they're just kind of like, let's just let them make sure they get to full strength so we don't have this stupid like reoccurrence.
Well, obviously you want to have your whole team, but quite honestly, when you're talking about a player like Romeo Langford, I'm not all that worried about
Yeah, if he's not there,
Romeo Langford having
especially
a
with the way
recurring injury.
Pritchard's playing, or the way
Exactly.
Pritchard's playing, and like even Ogilvy had 24.6 or 8 from three, 8 for 12 from the field. Like I just made a post about it. Like one of our former guests, super nice dude. I DM him all the time. Like he's just, and I'm so glad to see him. He's having a great season. He had a great night tonight when his name was called to start. He's just going out there and be like, you can tell in their short off season, his shot improved, his decision making improved greatly. Because now I see him like he's not just always taking that little corner three. Sometimes he'll mix it up with a drive to the hoop. Like I don't know. I'm a big fan of him this year, and that's not just because he came on the show and because he's been super nice, but like he's going to be an important part of our bench, and for like I think a few years to come too. I think why wouldn't you retain him if like you get him for cheap? Like he's a solid bench player, strong dude. He can cover like Giannis pretty well. They started him tonight. Like I'm assuming to cover Siakam or something. Like I don't know. I think he's
Yeah.
solid.
I was just gonna say that when you talk about Ogilvy, the first thing I think of is him covering Giannis. I mean, you look at him and
He's a beast.
look at Giannis.
One of the strongest dudes in the NBA.
Absolutely. I mean, the way that he's able to cover Giannis, I mean, even LeBron has difficulty covering Giannis, but Ogilvy is on his toes. He's staying with him. He's limiting him to 15 points. It's insane. It's insane.
I mean, nobody can stop Giannis, but if you can,
Yeah.
if Semi can contain him, I will sign him purely for that reason.
Oh yeah.
Like, especially with
It's like having
the
a
Bucks
knuckleball
being a
catcher.
contender. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's no need. There's no need to get rid of him. Like if he's playing that well, and I mean, I'm gonna transition into the Kemba thing. Like everyone's freaking out about Kemba. Like, and why would we trade him? Honestly, then we're left without a starting point guard. Pritchard's not a starting point guard right now. We're
No.
left without a starting point guard. Kemba's averaging like 18 points a game. That's fine. That's literally fine because he's letting the other two do their thing. His shooting percentage is pretty low right now. I think he'll end up getting that up. He's kind of getting back into it. He played pretty good. He played pretty well tonight. He had 21 points. That's pretty good. But I think in like what do you, I think realistically, what are you getting for him? Like, tell me that. What are you getting? What are you getting? You're gonna get maybe like a decent bench piece, and you're gonna
Maybe.
have maybe you're not gonna get any like nobody in their right mind is gonna trade like a star player for Kemba, like, but that doesn't mean he's not valuable. Like he's valuable to the Celtics right now because
Right.
he
His ceiling
and no
right now is
yeah
higher.
and no other star is gonna want to play. Not gonna want to play. They're not gonna want to like take a back seat to Tatum and Brown. And Tatum and Brown aren't gonna want to take a back seat right now when they're at like they're like playing as well as they are. So
Especially not Brown. Look at that guy.
yeah,
I mean,
Bradley
he
Beal
scored.
might be a good option because him and Tatum are good friends. But I don't see the Wizards trading for Kemba Walker when they have Russell Westbrook right now. It just doesn't make sense for them. Um, and because in all the trades things I've seen, you're trading away Kemba and Smart and picks. Why would you trade our 2 point guards right now? Because that
Yeah,
Pritchard's your
it's stupid.
starter and Teague and Edwards are your backup. Which short point, Edwards is having a great season. He's found a shot. He's confident, and I really appreciated his play. But like like tonight he shot 5 for 12. That's pretty good. 5 for 8 from three. That's good. That's very good. 6 for 6 on the free throw line. Plus 21. Like I don't. Wow, Pritchard had a minus 11 plus minus. Really? Oh, anyway, but like he had 20 points too. But like, I don't know. I feel like you can't. I don't know. You can't like people are overreacting. You can't react like to like it's a short sample size. It really is. Like if he plays like this all season, I'm gonna start to get a little aggravated. But like he's showing flashes. Like you can't. He's gonna get back there. He just needs a few more games. I think.
I mean, that's the quirkiness though of Boston sports, and the Boston fan base
Yeah,
is
they're
it's not
psychotic.
even.
They're like very quick to hit the trade button. Like
Exactly, but then they'll hype up those people. I mean, they're
yeah,
very
then
quick with
it was
everything.
like
They're jump.
Tatum struggled for a stretch, and they're like, oh, let's let Brown take the reins. Like let's see what we. I'm
Yeah,
like, what are you talking about? Like that makes zero sense. That literally has no like. I don't know. They're very very quick to be like, all right, he's done. Like they did that to Hayward. Nobody saw Hayward's value. Like everyone's freaking out. He's like, oh, he's back to all-star form this year. He was doing the exact same thing on our team last year. Just he was on a better team, so he wasn't getting as many shots. He was averaging 17 points per game as the fourth option. The fourth option. That's incredible. Like
on great
you
efficiency.
yeah, and people are like and he was running the offense. He's playing the top of the key. Like people don't see that. And I had this argument over and over again with people, and people were like, "Oh, we got to get rid of Hayward." I'm like, "But you're not going to get anything." Like you like I don't know. It's so aggravating. And then everyone's like, "Oh, he's having a great year. He's an all-star again." I'm like, he did the same thing. He's just on a crappy team, so he's getting all the shots. Not a crappy team, but like not as good of a team. Like,
Right.
but I don't know. I think just Boston fans tend to just go overreact real quick. Like, it's a
Well,
process.
I remember back in the day too. There was that stretch of time after we traded away Pierce, Garnett, Jason Terry to the Nets. We had that
Mm-hmm.
period before we had Isaiah Thomas, where everyone on the team, I mean,
It was
could
not a
score
great, yeah.
anyone could score more than 14 points, and they thought he was the second coming of Christ, if we're being honest. I
Yeah.
mean, like I remember Vander Blue was on a
Well,
10-day
Jeff,
contract.
well, Jeff Green was our best player.
Oh my God, I rememmer Jeff Green. They were like, "Oh,
I
if Jeff
remember
Green
that.
were consistent, he'd be better than LeBron." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Really? Okay."
Yeah, like everyone was like, they're in the two extremes. Like we'll win a game by 20, and they'll be like, this team's gonna win the NBA championship, and then they lose a game by 2, and they're like, all right, blow up the team. I just
Exactly. Yeah.
I can't listen to that crap, and I'm like, and now you're getting all the football fans coming in and going trade Kemba, and they don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah,
Like
they come in because they weren't actually watching the season,
I've watched every game so
whatever
far
they
this
could.
season. This is the first year. Like I usually watch most of the games. This is the first year. Like I have literally nothing going on, so I'm always like always have the time to watch the games, and it's like I see good things. Like they just don't. They need some consistency, and I think we're getting that from like Brown only had 12 points tonight. Tatum had 17, but like realistically, they we didn't need them to do big things. Like we won, and other guys were stepping up. So and I mean Brown only shot 3 for 14. Tatum was 5 for 13. Not great. 0 for 4 from three for Brown and 1 for 3 for Tatum. But like they didn't need to. They didn't need to be there. Like they all had like plus 20, like plus minus. That's like they didn't need to like do that tonight, but they've been very consistent this season, and I think they're going to be the dynamic duo of the decade. And I don't like I don't see any way they're not both all stars, and I think probably Brown will start. I think Brown should start, but I mean they could just actually Beal will probably start at shooting guard, and then they'll probably give like the point guard to like Kyrie or something, or if they don't, because they usually do like a point guard and shooting guard with instead of like two guards, but. I don't know.
I
I
mean,
think,
unless Kyrie opts out of the game because of some sort of spiritual
yeah.
vision
Well,
he's seeing.
I also I should like the players are probably won't even play it. I don't think they play it. I don't see most of them are complaining, and I honestly agree with them. I mean, why would you even risk why would they even risk that with all this stuff going on? Like
Yeah,
it doesn't
it's
make
not
sense.
smart.
there's no need to do it, and why would you risk an injury or COVID like for like the regular season, like the shortened regular? It doesn't make sense, and I don't think
Right.
the
It's one of
NBA
those
really.
things. It could be on paper. These are all stars. We'll recognize them,
I
but
don't think the NBA really thought that through, but I think they should do like an alternate thing, like maybe like I don't know, they'll figure it out. Like they during the break they did a 2K tournament with players, and like if they do like fun things like that or like different challenges, maybe like they did the virtual horse competition, which was kind of a crap show because like the signal was so bad. But I don't know. I think they'll do something creative like that. Uh, what's up,
interesting.
Julio?
What's good? We're
uh,
recording. Oh.
but no, I don't know. I think everyone's overreacted to the Celtics. I appreciate the play this season. I know the record is not great, but they're still in fourth right now. Like there's no reason to freak out when they still have they still have they're at like 24 games or 72 game season. They still have like 48 games to go.
They have
You're
plenty
not
of
even
time to figure
you're
it
not
out.
even halfway through the season. Like we're about a quarter way through the season. Like there's no need to freak out about it.
No, not at all.
Like,
Not at
and
all.
I think people need to just chill out, get our players back, and we'll be fine. I mean, I don't know how far this team can go just because of the juggernauts. But I think they can make a pretty good dent in the playoffs this year. I think they probably get to Eastern Conference Finals again, and hopefully win it.
I'd have to agree. And I mean, I think the biggest issue with them right now, like you said, it's consistency, and it starts with the lineup. It starts with Brad Stevens. Like obviously, there are things that are not in his control. There
Mm-hmm.
are reasons why he can't keep the lineup, but there are those times where he just mixes up the lineup because he feels like it.
Yeah,
There's a phrase that I think he needs to hear. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
yeah, he's aggravating the
There's
crap out
something
of me
working.
because Tristan Thompson will have a great game, and then he won't play him in the fourth quarter down the stretch. And I'm like, he's killing their bigs, and then he'll just like go away from it at the end of games. And I'm like, if it's working in the game, just stick with it. Don't even go back. Don't go to your end of game plan if Tristan Thompson is killing their bigs completely and nobody can stop him. Like, there's no point in going to it.
There's something to
And
be said for traditional coaching methods.
yeah, and I don't know. I feel like we covered most of it, I think Smart's a huge piece. And I think I'm gonna talk about this briefly, but in that Jazz game, I think if we have Smart, then Donovan Mitchell doesn't get as many like shots as he does. He doesn't put up 36 points, and I think Smart will hold him down a little bit. Like I don't know. I think we just need to get a healthy team, and I think it's as simple as that. And I think people need to stop freaking out about like trades. Like I think we need it. We could trade, and I think we can go over some trade options right now. But and I
Yeah, if
th-
you
like
want to.
yeah. So I mean, they should make a trade, but I don't think you can trade one of your core pieces right now.
No.
And I think so. Some of our options for our top options right now, like I Bradley Beal's obviously like an option, but like that's not a very I would say logical option right now. I don't
For
think the
either team.
Wizards. Yeah, I don't think the Wizards trade that. But so I'm gonna go over some reasonable ones. Harrison Barnes. I like that one. I think he'll be solid, and I think he'd be a solid player to come off the bench for us. Um, I mean, I'm not as high on him as I am some other guys, but I think he would be fine. I don't see a problem with him. Um, what do you think?
I mean, honestly, Harrison Barnes, where he has the ability to play the 3 or the 4, I can see him working really well in a bench unit, especially a Boston bench unit. You have somebody like Peyton Pritchard and somebody like, Barnes can get to the rim. I've seen Barnes have his flashes of explosiveness before.
Mhm.
I can see that being a solid little duo off the bench
Well,
that
and
could
if you
bring
also
you.
think, yeah, and if you also think, sorry to cut you off, but if you also think, like they're like Harrison Barnes, like he brings a veteran presence. Like it's weird to think that he is a vet, like he's a vet, but he also brings the playoff and the championship experience from like when he played in Golden State. He
Yeah,
has
people
that.
forget that.
Yeah, he has that experience, so he could bring some like good experience and a veteran presence in the locker room and experience like to that bench unit too. And I think that is a huge factor, and that's why I even like consider it like not only because of his play, but because of that experience.
Yeah, no, I mean, I would have to agree, and like it's kind of funny. People tend to forget that Harrison Barnes, he was a starter on that Warriors team. He was a
He
starter on
isn't
that
he? He's
Warriors
not
team.
starting for the Kings, is he?
Is he? I don't think he is. If he is, I'd be
Uh,
surprised. I think he's a six man.
no, he starts. He starts.
He is?
Yeah,
Okay.
he played against the Celtics. Played 37 minutes, had 24 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds.
Solid. I'd
Yeah,
love to
because
see him with us.
they start Healed, Fox, Holmes, Bagley, and Barnes, and Tyrese Halliburton's their 6 man.
They start Barnes at what, at the five? Or no, they put him
No,
at
they
probably the three.
three. Yeah, because Bagley's a 4, Holmes is
Yeah,
the
yeah.
5, Fox 1, Healed 2. So and then not keep it on the Kings. Buddy Healed. Honestly, I know, or like I would probably keep maybe even want Buddy Hield more than Barnes. As much as I like Barnes, Hield is a good shooter, and that might be great for our bench. And he's a good scorer in general, and just I feel like he's just like a strong guard to have. Like, and he's like a solid sized dude.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you could even run a small ball lineup too. Like a death lineup of sorts, where you run Kemba at the one, Healed at the two, or
Brown
sorry,
Tatum,
Smart at the two, Smart at the two,
Hield,
and Healed at the three,
Brown Tatum.
or Tatum at the five, and you just go for the kill and score a quick 15, 20 point run and then switch it up. But I mean that honestly that'd be like your death lineup.
Yeah, and like I don't know. I feel like he's a reliable option. I think either of those guys I'd be happy to have, as long as we don't have to give up like a major piece. Like, and I
Right.
don't even know who we'd have to give up for them. And honestly, and I know I just said they shouldn't get rid of him, but like Ojale, I mean, he may be an option. I don't know if they'd want him, but like, and I don't think I'd trade Smart for either of them. I don't think I'd do that.
Honestly, in my mind, Smart is untouchable. I mean,
Yeah,
he is the
he shows
face
up
of the
in every
franchise.
trade talk, but he'll never get. I don't think he'll ever get traded.
I hate that. I hate that he's in every single trade talk, because you look at the way that the sports rumors are brought out, and you have these players that see their names in rumors publicly, and they're getting frustrated, and they're like, "Why am I
Mhm.
in all these trade rumors? Am I not doing enough for the team?" And
Which
half
I
the time,
actually
it's not
want.
even true.
Yeah, which I actually wonder if Smart will say anything because he's going to be on the second quarter broadcast of tomorrow's game. I heard yeah, they play the Pistons tomorrow. Apparently, he's going to be on the broadcast on NBC Sports Boston for the second quarter, which will be interesting. Hearing Smart talk.
Yeah, I'm
I
sure.
mean, I wonder if they even like ask him about it, see if he how he feels about it. I mean, you never
I can't
know.
see him being happy.
I mean, he may just be like, I don't like. I feel like I have a strong relationship, like, because I really don't see them trading him.
Me neither.
Like, because he just brings like a different type of energy that nobody else on the team brings. Especially like him and Marcus Morris were like, like they were crazy duo together. Like they were so fun to watch.
I
Like
loved them.
honest, I would love to bring Marcus Morris back. I would love that. He's so entertaining,
Oh,
and he brings a grit like in toughness to the team. I mean, he's not really an option. Like I haven't seen anything about him, but I would love that. But another option, JJ Redick. He's been in talks. JJ Redick and Lonzo Ball. I would hate that. I'm just gonna like completely dismiss the Lonzo Ball thing. I would hate that. He has
oh, that's
no.
awful.
He has zero place in this team. Zero place. And Redick's not shooting great this year, but I still think like I don't think that's. I think that's just. I don't think he's like done shoot like he can't shoot anymore. I think just like a shooting slump, and I think he'll be back into it. So I think that
Mhm.
would be a good like a thing to explore for a shooting role off the bench, like Naismith was supposed to be. Even though Naismith has shown some flashes in some of his time that he's gotten, but I think Reddick's a good solid option. Um, I mean,
I no,
I don't know if you've seen anyone else, but
well, I do have something else in mind, but before I get to it, something really quick just came to mind. The way that I see Peyton Pritchard and Aaron Naismith is similar to James Young and Marcus Smart back in the day. Same draft class. One comes in before the season starts, really hyped up. That was James Young, really hyped up. Everyone's excited. He's this nice shooter. score some buckets, and then the other guy, he's the glue guy. He was solid in college, but he doesn't really have one particular thing that he does well. Or sorry, he does everything well. It doesn't have one particular thing he does off the charts, sensational. But then you get to the actual season. Marcus Smart's the contributor. James Young nowhere to be found. Get to this season. Peyton Pritchard, amazing contribution. Aaron Nesmith, he's
They completely fooled me. Completely. Like, I was very high on the Neesmith kid. I was very excited that he dropped to the Patriots pick because I thought he'd be a great shooting option for them. Especially just looking at his numbers in high school. I didn't really watch him play, but like his numbers were great, and I think that the Celtics are excited to see him at that pick, and they snagged that. But like then it just kind of like blew up in their face, kind of not really blew up, but like it was just kind of like just like because it's so early. Like even last year, Carson Edwards made a huge jump this year. Like he's actually done something. So I've been happy about that. But like, I mean, I don't see. I don't see Naismith going anywhere. I think he might step up and play a better role. Yeah, I think he just like has to get more confident, and I think they need to figure out their roster situation first because they have a lot of guys that can play. But
so yeah, you had asked me before about potential trade targets. One
yeah,
thing that I had actually thought of that it might take a little bit because the market for him is kind of hot right now. But how about Julius Randle? Throwing him at the 4 in this lineup? I mean, I understand he's
I
a little
would
bit of a ball stopper.
I would like him on the team. I don't think there's any way we could trade for him.
Right, yeah, that's where it's tough. You might have to delve into some of the draft picks,
Well,
but
I don't think the Knicks are shopping him. I don't are shopping him right now
I don't think so
because
either. And
well
because
they're
right now,
right now they're the ninth seed,
mhm,
11 and 15. Honestly, if they can even dream of slipping in the playoffs or just being right outside, there's no way they're going to stop that. They're going to just hold on to them, hope for like a decent pick next year, and just add to it because Barrett's playing well too. That quickly kid's been very good.
yeah, and I recently
Obi Toppin's been solid.
I'd read something about Tom Thibodeau as well. He had said at the beginning of the season they'd asked him, "Hey, what are you going to do without a star?" And he's like, "What do you mean? We have Julius Randle." And I like the fact that he's taking what he has, which it's, if we're being honest, it's a very limited group, and he's doing something very impressive with it. And he's turned Julius Randle into the number one option on the
He
team.
went and got D Rose again.
Yeah.
He's very high on D Rose.
Oh yeah.
I
Thibodeau, we
don't
know Thibodeau, he loves
like
having
what.
his old players.
Yeah, I mean, I like D Rose, and I think he's a solid. But like, there was no need to go and trade for him. I mean,
1 year ago, the Knicks could have used D Rose, but they have
like
quickly now.
there was really no need to trade for him. I just don't think like uh I
I mean, I
I
will
just
say
don't
that
get it.
one thing it does do, because they traded away Dennis Smith Jr. in a draft pick. Now losing that draft pick is going to really suck.
Yeah, why would you waste a draft pick on? It's not like a waste, but like if you're building for a future, like there's no like Derrick Rose isn't going to be your future. I mean, he's not old by any means.
Right.
Like people like think he's old but like realistically he's not. He came in like young, won an
Yeah.
MVP young. Like
What I'm getting at here, though, is like if you look at their point guard depth, you have Frank Ntilikina, and we all know Frank Ntilikina is very up and down and kind of washed. And I hate to
yeah.
say that because, he's so young, but he came in very hyped and he has produced very little. And, I think
Think
it's
about
good
this.
to bolster the depth a little bit with
Think
D
about
Rose, and
the
especially with
I
Dennis Smith Jr. He was going to go to the G League. He asked to go to the G League bubble just to
yeah.
get playing time.
I mean, I we're gonna get off the Celtics topic, but I mean, imagine if they had Porzingis still, Porzingis, Randall, like they'd probably be in the playoffs right now.
Oh, absolutely.
And I mean, I don't know if they'd be able to sustain it, but I mean, you never know.
Never know. That could be a good
This year's
team.
been weird. I mean, the Heat are the 9 seed, and they were in the finals last year. Raptors are the 6 seed when they were literally like out of the playoffs like a week ago. I mean, Pistons are at the bottom. Wizards second to last. That Wizards shouldn't be that bad. Been a surprise. Cavs have been pretty good, which is a surprise. Bulls. I mean, I thought the Bulls were going to be decent this year. I think Lauri Markkanen's been healthy for the first time in his career. Kobe White's solid. Levine's having an all-star year. Patrick Williams has been pretty good.
I love
Uh,
that kid. I love Patrick Williams.
I,
He's
I
been playing
I actually
really
wanted
well.
the Celtics to get him. He would have been a solid bench slasher guy, but
Yep.
he would. There was no way he was dropping that far.
Now the Cavs, I love that Cavs team.
Yeah,
Love
I
that
medon't.
Cavs team. You just lost to
Sexland.
Sexland every
Yeah.
single time. Every time that they win a game, I posted every time. You just lost to Sexland.
I don't.
But
It
no,
doesn't.
that shouldn't work.
It really shouldn't.
It
Honestly, their
shouldn't. You
team.
have two.
There's nothing special about their team. I mean,
Not at all.
they're only 10-16. Realistically, they're not in 12. Like the Bulls are 10-14 above them. Like the Knicks are 11-15. They're Heat are 11-14. Hawks are 11-13. They've just played more games. Like they very well could move up like 3 spots in like a couple days.
Right.
And it's just like crazy to think. Like Okoro's been great for them. I mean, their bigs have been great. Love, McGee. I mean, Drummond, Nance is hurt right now, I think. Jared Allen. They have way too many bigs. Can we just
way too many bigs. But none of them would fit with Boston. I keep hearing a lot of names from the Cavs and the Boston.
Let's get back to Boston. People can also complain about the bigs. I love the bigs. I don't see anything wrong with our big man group. Like, I think if we have a star big, it may even screw up like the flow of the team because right now we have Thompson, who's a great rebounder, good defender. He's a little undersized, so he struggles against guys like Embiid, but he's solid against other bigs. Phenomenal rebounder, great offensive rebounder, which is what we've been struggling with. Then you go to Tice. Tice has been phenomenal. Tice, great defender. He's honestly one of the best defenders. I'm like, I don't care. I'm gonna say this. One of the best defenders in the league on Embiid. Every time he covered Embiid, locked him up, aggravated the crap out of him. He's been solid offensively too. His 3-point shot has been great. Then you go to the bench with Robert Williams. Robert Williams, he's one of the best lob catchers. Like he's a great at catching lobs. He's a solid shot blocker. He sometimes struggles rebounding just on strength wise, but I mean, we have all three like type of guys we need, and and they're all solid, and they don't take away from our stars, and I think that's perfect. I mean,
and how about Robert Williams? I mean, he has I don't mean to cut you off, but this is a crazy stat I keep seeing. Robert Williams, first all time in NBA history in field goal percentage.
Yeah, because all he does is catch lobs. He doesn't take any other shots.
Yeah, one of these days somebody's gonna check it out. Some old school NBA.
He should just retire right now. Just retire.
Yeah.
Retire
right
on top.
now. Yeah.
Just retire on top. Who's behind him?
Let me
look it up.
Take a look.
I'll look it up. All time field goal percentage.
Yeah, it's crazy. You wouldn't expect it to be Robert Williams. I understand he's a lob catcher, but even then, like,
I don't see him. This may be what year is this from? Control F. Robert. I don't know if he's on this. Maybe he hasn't taken enough shots.
Could be that.
Yeah, there's only Robert Parrish on this. Maybe he hasn't taken enough shots. There may be like a minimum shots.
Another Celtics center.
Yeah, and I mean, it's right now. It's DeAndre Jordan, Rudy Gobert, Tyson Chandler, Steven Adams, Dwight Howard, Shaq, Artis Gilmore, Hassan Whiteside, Mark West, Steve Johnson, Daryl Dawkins, JaVale McGee, James Donaldson, Amir Johnson. Oh God,
it's the Celtics features in there.
Oh boy,
Amir Johnson. You hear Amir Johnson's playing with that Ignite team with the G League?
Is he?
Yeah, he's on their roster. Last time I checked, I can't say I've watched any games. I've seen highlights.
I saw something. Jalen Green and Jonathan Kuminga are playing well.
Yeah.
I think that's honestly, I think a lot more people are going to do that next year. I don't see why not. You make money, you learn the business.
Yeah, and you have those older players that make up the second half of the roster. It's good mentorship too.
Yeah, and you can go right to the NBA right after. All right. I think that's pretty much all I got. I don't know if you have anything else you want to talk about.
As of now, I think I'm all good.
All right. So I think that about does it. Thanks for everyone for listening. Thanks to Joe for coming on, talking some Celtics with me.
Thanks for having me.
Um, yeah, I mean, hopefully Bosi returns soon. We miss him. So shout out
I'll miss
Vos.
Bosie.
Vos dog.
Love you,
Yeah,
Bosie, if you see this.
everyone go check out our IG at offbeat_sports. Hey, go follow our TikTok. Actually, we're just kind of starting to develop one at offbeat sports. Trying to plug all our socials right now. Make sure
The
you
Twitter.
like and subscribe. Twitter is at offbeat sports with 2 S's on the end. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we got some big things in the works. We're gonna have a couple giveaways coming up, so be sure to be on the lookout for those. And yeah, I mean, watch those Celtics games. Don't make stupid comments. And oh yeah, go check out our sponsors, Drink True and Celsius. Um, both quality products. I drink them all the time. I like them. And but yeah, so thanks everyone for watching.